Hi everyone, my name is Ololade Awaye and I'm a practicing psychologist and I'm here on set with Cozy and Candor.
My name is Moturaya and I'm a mental health counselor and I'm here on set with Cozy and Candor.
My name is Aguchoma Juliet. I'm a psychologist. I'm here on set with Cozy and Candor and you're welcomed. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that. I have been practicing for the past 8 years, and one thing I would say is that if you're experiencing any mental health condition, I want you to understand that you're not alone and there is help for you.
Why is mental health not regarded enough in the society, and why do people wait till it escalates before opening up?
Mental health is more like a topic that nobody will talk about. People would shy away from talking about mental health. So when they have like a difficulty, it's difficult to, when they have a difficulty, it is difficult, very difficult to talk. When there is a problem, when there is something they feel emotionally that nobody can relate to, talking about it becomes very difficult. So I think that's why nobody will talk about mental health. And when they start to experience the symptoms, it gets to a point where they keep repressing, they keep suppressing, they keep bottling up a lot of things. And at the end of the day, nobody would understand me. Nobody can relate. So they'll keep it to themselves. So it gets to that point where they've tried everything. They're not talking, they're not doing anything. And now it's like the mind is full. So it will just explode. That is when they will now start, okay, I need to talk, I need to see somebody, I need to see somebody. So the stigma, how people would understand me, how they would relate, will they treat me like they treat me? Someone like me now, if I come and meet my friend and say, oh, I've not been sleeping well because I've been having intrusive thoughts about negative things. That kind of thing, wouldn't they see, like, why are you overacting? What do you mean you cannot sleep? Why are you blowing it out of proportion? So the stigma there and the fact that there is no understanding would really make people not talk. And it to get to that point where one's mental health starts to derail and it keeps deteriorating and to just explode. Do you understand?
Yeah,
so it's
right.
like an accumulation of not being able to talk, the stigma, what people will say about me, what people would, we don't even understand what I'm even feeling. Do you understand?
Yeah.
We don't even, can they relate? So these are like the things I have seen personally and also clinical experience. These are the things I have seen that would make people not talk about their mental health.
And I totally agree with you because I think that most times we confuse or say we think that mental health is the same as mental illness. So when we talk about mental health, you think we're talking about psychosis or say someone is having, yes. So I think that's also one thing. So we can say that ignorance is one reason why people would not want to seek help, right? And that really affects our seeking help behavior. So I also think that the culture here too does really help us, right? In terms of, especially men, we'll tell them, okay, it's okay, you don't have to cry. It's just a small thing. It's normal. Everybody goes through that, and it's a man up, right? And it's just like you said earlier that when you bottle it up, over time, there would definitely be that conflict about, like, this is how I feel, but this is how I'm hurting, right? I have to man up. I can't cry. But I feel like crying. So at the end of the day, you would show it in your behavior. So maybe aggression or say violence or seek alcohol and some other ways like that. So
Yeah, I think that also the fact that, in Africa, not all of Africa, but let me just not generalize. In Nigeria, we spiritualize things a lot. And they spiritualize mental health illness.
Right.
You hear people, I've heard people who are very, very civilized saying that, oh, I think it's village people, or I think this person has offended someone, or I think they use this person for ritual, all those spiritual things in quotes. So when it happens, the first line of action might be those spiritual intervention. Of course, it is until it gets out of hand and they are not getting any headway that they come to the hospital or they start seeking intervention. And then we also look at, like you said, the fact that there is no enough information out there. People don't know. I've had people call in crisis, oh, this person is going through symptoms of psychosis, hallucination, delusion, and they don't know what to do. They don't know where to take the person to. And sometimes we also look at affordability. How affordable, how accessible the hospitals that we have, what is the capacity, would it be able to contain, and then all of that. And the fact that, like you said too, there is no enough psychoeducation around these things. People don't know what to do. They don't know how to go about it. So I think that, and you also mentioned about people not being able to open up, especially when you look at it from the perspective of gender. You know, in Africa, women are taught to be vulnerable, you know, and men are taught to conceal and be a man and be strong. And sometimes they can't open up to their peers because they will get laughed at. They will be like, you're not being man enough. What do you mean you're depressed? What do you mean you have anxiety? Can't you sort it out? It's just one of the things that comes with being a man. So they would not want to open up. But I think that when we look at all these things and do something about it.
While you were talking, something came to mind. So it could also be pattern.
Okay.
Because I've seen how epigenetics, that's like intergenerational trauma. Oh, my daddy didn't talk. My brother, they don't talk. My uncle, when something happens, it's always, he knows how to handle himself. So I think I should just keep quiet as well. I would not talk. I can figure it out. I can handle it. I'll be able to work on it. I'll be able to. So all of these things, right? We all have different thresholds. Physically, emotionally, we have different thresholds. So if one is always looking at another person's threshold, you would at the end of the day do more damage to yourself. Because you're trying to compare. If my daddy can do this, if my uncle can do this, my grandfather, that's how he was able to solve his problems. He didn't talk to anybody about it, so I can do it. So it could also be pattern. So these are learned behavior that is being passed around, and it just would allow people not to talk.
Can we also say fear, right? I mean, just like you said about, okay, so every other person would do it this way. They won't talk about it. So if I talk about it, won't they reject me? Fear of rejection, right? Like fear of what could possibly happen here, right?
Looking at the way the society is today, rate the prevalence of mental illness and what is driving the rise.
The social media is driving the rise of mental illnesses. Social media is one thing I have seen. The fact that even Nigeria itself is driving the ride, if you're being honest, the economy is really is something else. So these are the things that would precipitate thoughts of, oh, I'm not good enough. See my peers, they're doing this. I've not even bought a car at 30. What am I doing? That guy bought his own car when he was 26. So these are the things that would unconsciously bring about comparison, and automatically it will start to drive that, oh, mental health, mental illness. It will become something that people are experiencing but they don't talk about. So social media is something I have seen clinically. I have had clients who come to sessions and be like, Lolade, don't tell me, don't lie to me, tell me, am I moving forward? I'll be like, what do you mean? Start narrating how people that they graduated school together, or he's not even in the country, he travels around. This is somebody that is good, at least if you are to look at it financially, is established, he has his own business, but there is still that imposter syndrome coming from comparison. You compare all of these social media posts when people go out. I don't know. Well, Gen Z. I think I'm Gen Z. I don't know, but it's just like it goes to the extreme, and these are the things that will just bring about that mental illness, and the fact that social media and even Nigeria. I'm emphasizing on Nigeria because our economic instability is contributing significantly. You can't afford basic things. The amount they used to buy car last 10 years, if you have that money, you cannot buy korope.
Car is in far.
You cannot buy anything. Feeding.
Basic needs, hospital, feeding.
I have a client that alone triggered him. He cannot buy what's this thing called that they sell in Chicken Republic? It's like, oh, I've forgotten, chicken wings or something. Like a sausage sandwich. I don't know. he said he cannot buy it. And this is something he buys regularly. So that alone was a trigger. It just brought about the whole anxiety, the cycle of anxiety again. So there are a lot of things that we see that literally contributes to the rise of mental illness in Nigeria.
Yeah, I think that another thing, it might be unconventional, but I think that now a lot of talk is going on about mental health, so people are opening up.
Gradually.
Yeah. So before they weren't opening up. So if people weren't opening up, how would you know it's even there? But now people are recognizing that this isn't normal. There has to be a problem. So it looks like it's not like these things weren't there before. Not like these mental health conditions were not there. But now it's like the touch is being flashed on it, and we are seeing it. We now know that that's why it looks like. For me, that's what I think.
I've always be grateful that mental health is not how it used to be. At least late President Buhari did something before he left office. The act that he changed. So I think that actually it brought about that level of awareness. Although we are not where we want to be, but we are not where we used to be. So I think that's progress.
So just like she said about how it can be unconventional, having more information. So I think because now we have people who are willing to open up. It seems like, yes, people are really experiencing hardship, or say they're going through mental breakdown, right? Because we have more statistics compared to before, right? So I also think that another thing that you also made mention of, which is that economic hardship, right? The pressure, which social media also, it's making it into spotlight. Because now, I mean, you probably, maybe before now, a friend that you haven't seen in 10 years, you don't know how the friend is faring. But with social media, you can actually track it down.
Like track what the person is doing every day.
Yeah, and that makes you feel a kind of pressure. And like you said, you feel with that pressure comes the anxiety that, okay, so where am I? And with that comes the shame that you're not doing enough, you're not good enough. And it just keep pounding like that.
Yeah, and I also think that, before we had a very good social interaction, very good social environment. But now social media has taken that away. Someone can be indoors, they'll be on their phone 24 hours of the day, they are not talking to people. It might look as if it's not affecting, but it's affecting. That social interaction is very, very important. There was a time I did remote job for 2 years plus. I know what it did to me. I know what I was the one that told myself, no, I have to go out and interact with people. So I think that social media has taken away that interaction, that social environment that we used to have before. So it's now in the social media where people post things that are even unrealistic, and then is a yardstick to measure yourself when the person is posting their best moments. So I think that social media, like you said,
let's not even forget Jackpot. Right, that one is there too, right? Immigration, right? People are moving out.
Yeah, we all want greener pasture. So any opportunity, you just want to go. So even if you don't know what you're going to do yet, at least you're not in Nigeria. So somebody just jackpine, quote unquote, right? It is already a yardstick to measure. I'm not even doing anything. See me, I'm in this wretched country. Nigeria is not wretched though, but I'm in this country and I am like this because you saw your friend as jackpot.
And right? You don't even know how they are surviving.
You don't know. You have no idea. So I think like comparison literally would like put a lot of pressure on people, especially individuals who struggle with low self-esteem. It will just skyrocket immediately. So you don't even want to know what this person is doing. The fact that you've seen that she bought a new car, or she bought human hair, or is driving Lexus, Benz, all of these cars, you start to think about your life. What have I done?
I mean, I was even thinking from the perspective of social interaction, right? I mean, you say, for example, if you're going through something, you can easily go to your friend and that physical contact, maybe give a hug. But now, your friend is abroad.
They'll send you virtual hugs. Have you not seen that? Right? They'll send you virtual hugs. Your friend is telling you, like, trying to unburden, like, guy, I'm tired. Work is not even what it is. And you're like, sorry, my guy. You now send you emoji, virtual hugs. I see that and I'm like, really? We have gotten to that level.
It's not the same.
It's not. It can never be the same.
Right.
from your experience, what are some of the most common emotional struggle men face but barely talk about?
Wow.
Yeah, well, from what I've seen in practice, emotional struggle is holistic. Maybe we would narrow it down to the ones that are related to mental health conditions, right?
Okay.
We can say I've seen a lot of men experience anxiety. I've seen that significantly. I,
Right.
I don't know if it can be linked to the fact that men are supposed to, they are expected to be the major breadwinners. Let me just put it that way. Sometimes, even when the man is not married, he doesn't have an immediate family, he has younger sisters, he has parents, and the whole responsibility falls on him. And sometimes they do businesses, he doesn't work. But from my perspective as a clinician, I've seen a lot of men experience anxiety and then depression too. Sometimes it looks like they don't, but I wouldn't say that the number of men that experience depression is more than the number of women, but it is significant. Depression and anxiety, I've seen that a lot.
Right. I mean, when you talk about anxiety, I was also thinking from the place of sexual anxiety. I think that's one thing that men don't really like to talk about. I mean, yes, we all know that sex is something that we don't really like to talk about. Yeah, right. So now talk about you having sexual anxiety. How do you tell your friends that I'm anxious about? So sexual anxiety, sex itself, right? It's something that we do not like to talk about in our community. So when we talk about sexual anxiety, is that fear or say that worry about your performance as a man, right? And so it's something that I think that men do not like to talk about because of our culture and because the word itself, it's still like taboo. So, and how can we up that? It's more to create a safe space about talking about issues that we're struggling with.
One thing I've also seen that men struggle with is that they can't talk about is trauma.
Yeah.
They don't talk about their upbringing, the dynamics of family. So I always say something in sessions, right? Trauma is not just about what happened to you. Trauma is also about what you wanted to happen but never happened.
Exactly.
You wanted your parents to support you, you wanted your siblings to support you, but you didn't get all of those things. So when you're talking with your friends and you're, oh, my dad got me this, and you know your daddy did not even send you at home, that kind of thing, you are bottling it, you're not talking about it. It's not like you were being beaten 24/7 back to back, no. But you wanted that care, you wanted that love. You see, something has, it's not simple, but you know, this is common. Neglect. Parents would neglect their children. That's what I always say. If you know you are not fit to get married, don't get married. As a person, you know you struggle with a lot of things and you know you don't get married. Because at the end of the day, you get married and when you start having children, you're bringing in children to continue a cycle that you have not even broken. And I see this a lot in sessions. A lot in sessions. Aside sessions, I go out to speak. So I know to a large extent that trauma that men are not handling, they are not facing, they are not healing through, would come back to haunt them. The past will remain the past. You can't do anything about the past. But if you don't pick lessons from the past and start to work on them now as an individual, it will just be following you like something you cannot see, like that in the like something invincible that is just tagging along as you're walking is going. So neglect, all of these adverse childhood experiences would metamorphose into anxiety. These are the things that bring about depression, financial hardship. I don't have money, I don't have money, I cannot take care of my family, I cannot take care of my family, and at the end of the day, you are just keeping quiet. The world will not say, he's a nice person, let's take care of him, let's treat him. No. Things will happen, time will keep going, the world will leave you. Nobody is coming to your aid if you don't pick up yourself and say, I want to get better. I'm ready to heal. You do it intentionally. If you don't do it intentionally, nobody will do it for you. So you see, trauma, adverse childhood experiences, financial hardship, because these are the things that will precipitate mental health difficulties in men. This is coming from clinical experience. This is coming also from experiences about people's experiences around me, not just clinical. People that I've seen, uncles. So when you start to see all of these things and you look, it will take somebody that is very intentional. I don't want to continue like this. I don't have the money. My dad didn't have the money. I don't want my children to also say that kind of thing. I don't have the money. So you have to make that decision. You have to start working towards it. So all of these things now added together. You don't have a job. Your upbringing was not horrible. Like you get now join everything together, and you sit down and you're there whining. Nobody's going to help me. That's why men die by suicide. Only January, I saw a statistics, a research in Nigeria, men that attempted suicide and died by suicide. There are over 4,426. I can't remember where I saw that thing. Just between January to June.
This year.
Yes, this year. Men that has attempted and died by suicide. So the fact that they keep accumulating, suppressing, repressing, bottling all of these things, it is just going to keep increasing.
And I also think that when it comes to anxiety, men marks it as, I need to think, I'm a man.
I'm tough.
Yes.
Yeah.
Toxic masculinity.
Yes.
I can
Have
handle
to-
it.
I can handle
It's not a
it.
big
So
deal.
it's just thinking. I've seen people who come to therapy and they're having symptoms of full-blown anxiety, and they're telling you that it's nothing. I'm just thinking. I have to think. It's just normal worrying. I'm supposed to worry. I'm a man.
And you
Right?
see why they start having high blood pressure.
Right.
They start having what's this thing called prostate. These are the things that will trigger, because your mental health and physical health, they are like this.
Yeah.
If you don't take care of your mental health, you start to see it physically. The physical and physiological manifestation of a deprived mental state, because you can't separate them.
Yeah.
The process of healing is not a straight line. It has a lot of zigzags up and down, but it starts when you're ready to start. Healing is where you come to that process of acknowledging that there are some things in your life that you don't want to continue. There are some challenges you've seen. There are some things that you've heard. There are some things that you're actually doing, and you feel like, oh, this is more or less coming from an experience you've had in the past that is triggering these responses or behaviors. So healing is when you take that step to say, enough is enough. I want to start the becoming version of myself. I'm ready to walk through all of the processes involved. Like I said, the process, it's not a straight line, it's not linear. It has a lot of up and down. So you start by acknowledging that you want to walk through certain things, and at the end of the day you go back to what you're trying to heal from. So I'll give an example to make it relatable. So you're trying to heal from a particular pattern that has been happening in your family, and you've seen that you don't want it to continue. So now healing is when you make that decision to literally stop it. Right? Maybe it is the way you converse, the way you respond, and you say you want to do better, you want to walk better, you want to respond better, you want to communicate better. You start by acknowledging, right? You acknowledge, okay, I don't like the way I talk. I want to do better. I want to communicate better. Then you go through all of the processes, which is acknowledging, and the next one is now putting in the steps. I need to pause before I respond. I need to think about it before I respond. What I'm saying, is it going to make any sense? Yes, no, okay. What I'm saying, is it going to hurt the other person? So these are the stages, right? It doesn't even have to follow the line. You can actually do one step, and at the end of the day, you go back to the previous step, or you jump stages. So it is not a straight line. I'm going to emphasize on that.
I think we should also highlight that trauma, right? That it's not about just what happened. That you desired but that you didn't get. Because I think that, when you desire something and over time you're not getting it, there's a story you tell yourself to survive. And that survival strategy, you start showing it in your behavior. And by the time you get to adulthood, you won't even realize that this is the survival mode.
Sometimes that survival mode transcends to a personality disorder. I've seen a lot of people in therapy that by the time you start digging, you start clicking deep, you see that personality disorder, yes, it's a personality disorder, but it stemmed from, like you said, trauma.
Trauma is like the foundation of all of these things. That thing that will just keep bringing, like it's birthing different illnesses. It doesn't have to come in the same degree. It doesn't have to happen to the same person or different people the same way. It's unique to individual.
Right.
That's just it to wrap it up.
How do societal definitions of masculinity influence the mental health of men?
Society will tell you what you do.
Yes.
As a man, don't cry.
Don't cry.
You're a man. Don't do
Don't
that.
show vulnerability.
Don't do that. They see it as a weakness. You're supposed to toughen up. But I see that as society just creating or continuing the circle of a mental illness in men. You're not talking about it, but it doesn't mean it's not there. You know, if you're being very honest with yourself,
Yeah.
you know you struggle, you know there is something. So why are you listening to society? Society is there, it will always be there. But once you make that decision, society will not come and help you. And when you are going through all of this crisis, so society will always tell you, this is how we've been doing it. So you have to continue. You also have to do it that way. But you have done it and you've seen that it's not working for you. Why do you have to continue?
And sometimes I think that not to let me just be realistic. I think that ego problem in men, right? The less yes, society, yes, masculinity, yes, but ego, you know, men have ego in quotes, especially African men. They believe that, you know, I'm the superior one. I should not show that I'm not feeling fine. Maybe if I do that, they will start looking at me like a weak man, in quotes.
I would encourage people to open up more, right? If you're going through any mental health condition or anything that looks like it's off, it's not the normal you, right? Or maybe family members, people around you have made comments about certain behavioral patterns that are not healthy, that are maladaptive. I think that you should be able to open up, right? There are several platforms that you can go to, and Blue Room Care is making therapy accessible and also making it affordable. So if you have need to speak to a therapist, you can always reach out to Blue Room Care. And I would also encourage men to open up a lot, especially Nigerian men. Don't bottle it up. Don't feel like I'm a man, I'm not supposed to talk. I'm a man, I'm supposed to be a man. I don't want them to look at me like a weak man. I want you to understand that mental health condition is not a sign of weakness, right? It just happens. It's there, and you need help for it. So try as much as possible to open up more and seek intervention.
I was just thinking that, isn't that actually what we said about the societal expectation, right? To be in control as a man, right? Do you think that could actually be feeding, or say, wow, we think it's ego because that's how they have been trained to be, like you have to be in control. And over time, you think that that's it. It's when you're in control, that's when you're a man.
So I think the ego is a separate entity. Society fuels that separate entity. You already know as a man, I have to be tough. I have to be in tune with my emotions. I have to express my emotions. But you start to see that people that you walk around with, they are going through things, they don't talk about it. Your parent, your dad, your uncle, your dad's brother, your dad's uncle. So this is society. Society can be immediate. It doesn't even have to go to people. Even social media can be society. Social media is also society. So these are patterns of things that you've seen, right? And you start to say, okay, I am vulnerable, right? I am the kind of person that likes to express, but nobody's doing it around me. Does that make me weird? Am I a strange person? So you see, it's like their society keeps bottling the ego in men. That's one thing. Another thing is, okay, you want to talk, but nobody's talking. What do? You just keep it to yourself.
So can we say that it's both ways?
It's both ways. So they are like compensating each other. They can stand on their own, yes, but they at some point they would compensate each other. You don't want to talk because nobody's talking. So if you start talking, they'll start to see you. This is also where the stigma comes in. Like, why are you acting like a woman? Are you not a man? Any small thing you're crying. Who does that? Who does that? Clinical experience has taught me that men would have all of these things to some degree, right? But they will allow it continue because of what they want. I've seen men that are extremely in tune with their emotions. And when they start to talk in therapy sessions, you know, it is not just about, okay, I want to get better. This person is intentional. This person, I once had a client, a male, when we discussed cognitive behavioral therapy, we're working through cognitive distortions, and he was able to identify cognitive distortions in himself. He came back next session and told me, Lola, I have this for you. Do you know my girlfriend has been using cognitive distortions? I had to teach her. It shocked me. So it is an intentional person that is ready to actually put in all of the work, do everything, intentional about his mental health, because the society will be there.
Yeah, so I don't want us to just put the blame on the society.
It's not, no.
Yes,
it's not just the society. The society just contributes to a large extent.
That the man himself has ego
Absolutely.
issues
Yes.
that needs to be sorted out. Because sometimes, even when you know, when you're telling a man that he has a mental health condition as a clinician, that ego it will be in denial. He will tell you.
They'll become defensive.
Yes,
What do you mean?
Very, very defensive.
Like me,
like,
depressed?
No.
I don't know what
and
that is.
And it's not because the person doesn't know that they are depressed. It's because he's a man. He doesn't believe that as a man he should agree that, because he sees it as weakness.
So do men really have ego? So I think that biologically, right, the way men are wired, it's quite different from women. So a man would not open up because you ask him to, but because he feels safe to open up. So yes, there is the part of ego, but then there's also the societal expectations that do not allow men to open up.
Right? You see, they
So
see
that's
mental
coming.
health condition
That could also
as
be coming from
weakness.
learned behaviors. I think I mentioned it earlier. Oh, my daddy did not do this. My uncle did not do this. Nobody has been taking any antidepressants. Why should I be the first person to start in my family? So learned behaviors. So parents, right? I will keep emphasizing, if you know you're not fit to get married, don't go and marry you. Because parents, the kind of parents we are bringing up now in not Nigeria, but in our current age and time, social media parents. So it's like they get to a point where some of us are very intentional, some are passive. Some would say, I don't want to bring up my children the way I was brought up. I've seen that a lot in therapy. But like unconsciously, they are doing the same thing. They are not even aware that they are doing it, but they are doing it unconsciously. So society will do its own, but the man also has to be assertive. I want this to stop. You have to be the transitional character in your story. I don't want this to continue. And you can do it.
So you being in tune with your emotion, it's not weakness, it's you, it's actually strength.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, it is.
What role does trauma, especially child trauma, play in shaping a male child's behavior in adulthood?
Wow. If we are to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give it 9.8.
I'll give it 10.
I would give it 10 as well, because I've seen a number of men that it's good. Usually when we do mental health intervention, we try as much as possible to do holistic clicking to at least find out if there are predisposing factors. And most times when you track it down there, you realize that it's coming from a place of trauma.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes, like you said, it's neglect. And you know that the way they invest emotionally in raising the female child is different from the way in Africa. I'm not generalizing. Sometimes you see a boy crying and the mother says, "Why are you crying? Don't you know you're a boy? Stop crying. Don't you know you're a boy?" And the sister is crying and then they are petting her. And then sometimes, even when the boy is younger than the girl, they are like, "Don't you know she's a girl child? Don't you know this is female? You shouldn't do this to her." And sometimes they bottle that up. And sometimes in some homes where the financial capacity is not really there, these boys take on roles early in life. Right? You see the boy child at 15, 16 going out to do some menial jobs to help the family, and the girl child cannot do that, of course, because they are not strong enough, right? So like it's I see it a lot of times. It comes, and sometimes the behavior of the parents, especially maybe the man, the dad, right? And sometimes they also experience some sort of, they look at their parents, one party abusing another party, and then they pick on those things. So it goes down to it's very deep.
Intergenerational trauma is something that we don't really talk about. This is a guy who has not experienced anything that would cause anxiety, anything that would trigger. He has had like what they would call a soft life, right? But at some point you start to see this guy gets scared of literally anything and everything. So this could be the characteristics of intergenerational trauma. Maybe his mom's anxiety, he has inherited it because it can be passed through the genes.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? Or the dad's anxiety, he has passed it and now it is already affecting the child. So you start to see it in behaviors, because I can remember when I went to speak at the correctional center last year, I met children there. Boys, the youngest I attended to was about 10, 10 years. So when we have like conversations, you start to see that majority of the things that brought him to that place was because of neglect. The dad did not care. The mom, she doesn't even know where he is. So neglect, it has a way. You see childhood trauma. You see a man of 35 walking around with his self of 9 years, feeling the emotions of everything that happened when he was 9. This is a grown man, 40. I see them a lot in therapy sessions. They would max it very well, like everything is fine. They go out, they talk to their friends, they are able to do the things that they want to do. Work is going exceptionally well, but there is a problem. Adverse childhood experiences is not just about what has happened to the parents, what has happened to the maybe the parents individually or the marriage itself. No.
Yeah.
It could be, oh, they didn't bring, maybe the male child is like the second child, right? And his older sibling is a girl, a sister. You will see that parents of them, they do mistake, right? The way they would put it out there, oh, your sister, like you said, your sister is this, like, don't shout at her, don't do this one. And if the guy is talking, they'll start to, oh my God, I have seen a lot. Because parents, they contribute unconsciously. They don't even know that what they are doing is more or less shaping the man your son would be in the future. The future does not have to be 5 years.
Yeah.
You can have a 3-year-old son now, and how you treat that son will determine who he would be when he's 7. Not because, the brain works in phases. As adolescent, it is still growing. So now imagine a 10-year-old being introduced to substances. Automatically, you have more or less destroyed the prefrontal cortex.
Yeah, definitely.
You have destroyed it. Because, and they will start to become more emotional. So they will want to do what their friends are doing. They are easily influenced. These are the things that would keep accumulating from one step to another. So childhood experiences, adverse childhood experiences, all of those neglect, the abandonment, the trauma, how you are treating his mom, is learning how he will treat other ladies.
Women, yes.
So these things are not, nobody talks about them, but they happen.
I can categorically say that not 100% of the time, but most times.
Yeah,
you
most
can
a significant
trace
amount of time.
mental health conditions down to trauma.
Yeah,
When you
absolutely.
want to
Yes,
trace it, you
yes.
can.
It's like inevitable.
Yeah.
It might not, the level might be different,
Yes.
but you definitely get to see steepness of, okay, this happened to the mom, this happened to the uncle, this happened. It could be part. Sometimes epigenetics will even miss generation. It might not even happen. I watched a documentary on a family that had schizophrenic patients.
Okay.
They had 12 children. 9 out of 12 children were diagnosed of schizophrenia. And these are children. What if you check the pattern? Adverse childhood experiences, when they were 10, they would hand them over to another person that would take care of them. One would rape another, and that is how it starts.
And then trauma has a way, it affects the brain.
Yeah.
It affects the brain
Yeah.
structure.
Yeah, the
in
nervous
brain.
system gets changed immediately. It gets changed. So now your body is working on, this has happened to me. Survival, how do I survive with it? You're not looking at how do you heal through it. You want to, okay, it has happened. Yes, it has happened. It is a known fact. But how about you addressing how you can heal through that? You're not healing from it, no. You are working through all of those processes. It's not a very easy one. It can even be tedious. This is where you have to be completely vulnerable, right? But you have to go through that.
So it's just like you said earlier about how you see your parent do things. That's how you also do things, that you repeat that pattern. For a child who was never complimented, right? You did well in school. Maybe you scored 80 out of 100, and then they start those that score 90, do they have 12? And you grow up like
Never
your
complimenting
achievement,
others.
like
You minimize everything you have.
I've seen
You
people
do.
who would never compliment you no matter what you do.
yeah.
And then by the time you trace it back, you realize that, that was what they saw. So
They
they
grew up
thought
with
that
that.
that's how life's supposed to be.
If I don't get, so they have like this distortion, all or nothing. If I don't get 100, so if you're
Yeah,
telling me I got
it's I
98,
failed. Yeah.
98 is not 100. What do you mean I did well? I need to get 100. I get home now, my daddy will start shouting at me. So you start to see all of these things, and at the end of the day, one mental illness has just been birthed.
I also
Exactly.
see people who never show gratitude. No matter how nice you are to them, they think they are entitled to it. And then by the time you start tracing back to, you realize that yes, that was what they saw growing up. Maybe the dad, the mom, or somebody in the family, whenever somebody does something, even the most little things, there is no like thank you. They don't hear that. So when they grow up, they have that entitlement mentality that whatever you do to them, they won't tell you thank you. They feel like, why should I thank you? You're supposed to do that.
It's your duty. You're my son.
Yes.
So I feel like even the words you speak to your male child, it shapes who they become. Thank you, please. The magic word, African please what? Please what? Are you feeding me or I'm feeding you? Please what? In this current age and time, please what? Some of them can actually try. Don't let us generalize.
Maybe
Some
the
of
Gen
them,
Z ones.
they are
ones
very
that are
intentional,
civilized
or
and
they are
intentional.
willing to change. Even civilization doesn't mean you would automatically change a pattern.
Yeah.
You have to be willing. Okay, this is working, and I've seen this, so you want to put that in your family as well, because all of these little things, you're like laying the foundation of who your son would be when he's 14, when he's 17, when he's 19, when he's old enough to get married. If you don't lay that foundation, I'm sorry to say, what you see is what you get. So the part of adverse childhood experience is significant to shaping who a man becomes emotionally and also generally.
And in actual sense, it's what you know that you will repeat, or what you think that you will do when you are already.
Yeah,
exactly.
true.
So that's what you would also ask out. And let's not forget what you said about trauma, right? Those unresolved emotions, right? It will come out in behavior.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you see people who are aggressive, who are doing all
Risky
sort of
behaviors.
additions.
I've seen adults throwing tantrums, like real tantrums, and you're wondering, are you a child?
Are you in Lagos? You will see a lot of them when you enter bus.
Exactly.
At the bus stop,
Road
you,
rage,
like, how old is this guy? See him with all his beard and everything.
And they're throwing tantrums like a child.
Sometimes I don't just bother. I say, sorry.
This is what it is.
What do you have to do?
Yeah, because they didn't resolve all those emotions.
So it's like a pattern. It just continues like that. And if that kind of person now has a child, and the child is, children learn vicariously. It's not what you tell them to do that they will do. It's what they see you do.
What you model.
It's what they see you do. That's what they will do. So trauma, childhood, trauma in childhood is significant. Can you repeat the question?
What's the worst damage a mental health patient can experience?
Wow.
I think it's being dismissed, isolation, right?
Thank you.
Isolation.
Isolation, not having anybody to talk to, or it's just going to buttress the issue itself.
Right.
Yes, this person knows that they struggle with maybe anxiety or depression, and the fact that the person keeps isolating, like you struggle with anxiety and nobody's talking to you, you're not talking to anybody. Are you going to get better?
Right.
It's just going to keep taking you away from people. Struggling with anxiety, CBT will tell you start with little bits, exposure therapy. Start with little things, go out. Even if you're going out, check yourself, okay, I'm going to stay for 30 minutes. Once it's 30 minutes, go back home. Tell yourself, oh Lolade, you've done well. Tomorrow when you're going again, increase it 45 minutes. The more you keep isolating yourself, you see isolation. You said it when you were working remotely. You know how you're a professional. Yeah. So if a professional can actually attest to how she felt when she was working the remote job, you have to be very self-aware, right?
True,
true. Okay, I struggle with anxiety. I used to struggle with anxiety growing up. I struggled with mad, and the anxiety brought about mood swings. Like I smile a lot, right? So even my friends do not even know when I am happy or sad. At some point, they had to tell me if something is wrong with you, will not even know because you will just be laughing. I had to tell myself, okay, these are my friends, right? I need to tell them, they need to be there for me. So when I know there is something wrong, if I want to laugh, if I want to smile, I will still tell them. I'm laughing now, but I've been crying since yesterday. Oh, you guys, I've been crying since yesterday. Like that, you are trying to make people know you. You are trying to give them the opportunity to help you. It might not be as easy, but you have to start somewhere, try. You see, isolation is one thing that I've realized, that even a person struggling with one mental health condition or not, if you keep isolating yourself, we are created social beings.
Yeah, true.
I don't want to know how introverted you are.
Right.
You would always need somebody
People.
to talk to. You would always need, that's the need to engage, the need to socialize, the need to talk to people, go out, is always going to be there. You cannot shake it off.
The part of us is human, right?
Yeah.
But I think that, sometimes there's also that fear of being dismissed, right? So I think beyond the diagnosis itself is you not being heard, not being seen. So if you tell someone that, oh, this is what I'm managing, or this, I'm experiencing this, and then it's just like we said about the culture, like, are you not a man? So I think that can also be damaging,
Yeah,
right?
discrimination, stigma, and
Yeah.
discrimination will
Being
just make you,
dismissed,
and so this is somebody already struggling with a mental health condition. It's just going to amplify the whole thing.
yeah.
And another thing that I think too is when someone is experiencing any mental health condition and they don't get professional help,
Okay.
right? People who don't know what is wrong with the person or how to go about it, stepping in to try. That's one of the worst things that can happen to someone, someone going through mental health condition, like taking them to spiritual homes or taking them to places where they can't get help, right? And at the end of the day, the thing can escalate, it can get worse, or even taking them to quackery, right?
Yeah.
Where they can't really get the significant. The person is like, I've seen people who come to therapy and tell you, is it not just talking? I mean, I had the therapy.
When you
and
give them assignments,
are we not
they'll be
just
like,
going to talk? I
"Why
don't
are you giving me
understand.
assignments?
Why is
Is this
yours
a school?"
different? Is it not talking? I mean, we're supposed to just talk. And probably they've gone to a place where, yeah, what they did was just talk. So I think that one of the worst things that can happen to someone is not getting the
The
professional
adequate
help,
help,
the
yeah.
right help that they need.
Right. So it's better to not offer help at all.
If you know you
Yeah.
don't know what you're
Yeah.
doing, or then transfer, refer.
Yeah, that's something I do in my
Yeah,
practice
I
very
do
well.
that
Once
a
I know
lot.
I can't handle, no, you, as a
refer.
therapist, you cannot handle everything.
Yeah, definitely.
I would definitely refer to, my colleague knows me already. Once I know, okay, this person has come, I've seen the presenting concerns after clinical interview, and I know, Lola, they hold up, you can't do this, just refer immediately. Or you have like a number of clients and you just want to add another client, and you know burnout is real.
Yeah, definitely.
You as a therapist will be burnt out, and at the end of the day, you start to transfer aggression.
Yeah.
Unconsciously, you will not even know. Then your client starts to see that it's talking to me this way, that it's like I'm being dismissive, it's like I'm feeling this kind of thing. It's just best to try, because these are the things that will keep accumulating and also keep affecting your client. So at the end of the day, nobody's getting any help.
And sometimes the therapeutic relationship too. Maybe the therapeutic relationship didn't go as planned, and some therapists might want to still continue. Some people do that.
Yeah.
But it's not ideal.
Your first sessions, like
when you're
it's
seeing,
not-
and when you're even seeing that what you're doing is not effective, maybe it's not working for the client.
we
and
try different approaches until we figure out which works best for you. If we have seen that, okay, the synergy doesn't work, how about we just go to another person? The goal is for you to get better, regardless of who your therapist is. It's not like you're going to hospital. If you're having a very significant stomach pain that has been happening back to back, it has already deprived you, you can't go to work, and you say because the last doctor you went to did not treat you well, you now say you continue with that pain. That is how you see exactly. So the medical aspect, they would always want to refer, they would always want to go to another doctor. When it comes to mental health, because it is not seen, this is something you can, people live
not
with high functioning
physiology, it's
depression.
not- yeah.
People live with high functioning depression, they can still go about whatever it is they're doing, but deep down they know there's a problem. They know there is a struggle, they know there's a very intense difficulty, but they are maxing. They are going, they will continue to do whatever it is that they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, it's okay to say no, this is not the kind of help that I need. If you know that's not
That,
working
yeah,
for you.
that's what we're
Because you know
saying.
you
That should
struggle
be
and you
okay.
don't want it to continue. You're intentional
Yes.
about yourself. So you treat your mental health just as you treat your physical health.
If there's anyone going through a mental health crisis right now, what's that one thing you want to tell them, and to just cheer them up or shake them off the whole thing?
If you're going through any mental health struggle, I want you to know that it's not your fault. First of all, you're not the reason why you're experiencing what you're experiencing, no matter the severity. And it is also something that can be navigated. It's something that with the right help, with the right support, you will be fine. I don't intend to be dismissive, but then I'm certain that with the right help, the right support, you'll be fine. So yeah.
It's just like you said, that if we are going through a mental health crisis, right, just know that you're not alone, right? So yes, and there's help.
Okay, so if you're going through one problem or the other, emotionally, mentally, psychologically, I need to tell you that we're all going through different versions of the same thing, and you're definitely not alone. So seeking for help, you see, you need to just take that step further. You know you're going through all of these things, nobody seems to understand you, you've been thinking about it, you don't even know how to talk. The first thing is, go just get one person. That person does not even have to be a family member if you don't trust family members. Just get that one person. If you feel like you don't also have the resources to get help professionally, there are trained listeners here in Nigeria, in Lagos, that would listen to you for free, that would help you gather your thoughts together, it will help you seek for help, because you might not even know how to even say it. Just talk to that person and tell the person, I've not been sleeping well, whatever it is that you feel. The point is, don't keep it to yourself, because your mental health matters, you matter, and trust me, your life is very, very important to everybody.